guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have another quick review and demo for you, but this time it's on the Saem's The Cover Perfection Concealer Foundation. Seeing as much as I love the Perfection Tip Concealers, I actually have them in two shades. I use shade 01 to brighten under my eyes, and then I go in with shade 1.5 to cover up any dark areas or any blemishes. What I really love about these concealers is that they're really rich and creamy. They have excellent coverage. So when I saw that they have a foundation version of like the concealer, I was incredibly intrigued. Now on the box itself, you don't really get too much information because it's mostly in Korean. The only English part it actually has says UV protection plus whitening plus anti-wrinkle. Under that it says functional cosmetic. Then under that it says the best concealer ever. Then matte concealer plus foundation. And that's it. So not a whole lot of information there, but once you go online, you will find a bit more. So right here I have pulled up UV protection plus whitening plus anti-wrinkle again, concealer plus foundation, excellent coverage power, contains coated powder to enhance adhesion and long-lasting makeup, contains 5 kinds of plant ingredients to treat excessive sebum. So this is, as you guys could tell, supposed to be long lasting, supposed to have really good coverage, and supposed to be very matte. So let's go ahead and jump into me applying this, see it in natural light, and I will come back to give you some pros and cons. Okay, so right off the bat, as you guys could probably tell, I have quite a bit of scarring going on here on my left cheek, and it does a pretty decent job at covering it up. However, it doesn't have full coverage. I will go in later with a little bit more foundation on those particular areas so that you could see how it does in terms of building up, but you know, it's just not full coverage right off the bat. Another thing I'm going to say is that this has an incredibly matte finish, as you could probably tell, and it's kind of almost a powdery finish. And I usually apply my foundations with some sort of a beauty sponge. I'm not really into brushes, but for this particular foundation, I highly recommend that you do your application with a sponge because it takes a little bit more effort to blend it in because it's such a powdery and matte finish. It kind of sets in quickly, and I really don't see it going well with a brush. Something I haven't tried but that the websites do recommend you do is that you can also blend this in with your fingers. I'm not really into that because I'm a big germaphobe, but that is another option. Okay, so here's what it looks like with natural light. Just have in mind that at this particular moment I do have highlighter on the high points of my cheeks, on the tip of my nose, and on my cupid's bow, so if you see any dewiness, that is due to that. And now on to some pros, and not so much cons, but things to note. You guys know I don't like to use the word cons because foundations work differently for everybody. This is just my personal take on it. But for some pros, it does have a medium to full coverage, and by that I mean that it has a medium coverage off the bat, and you could build it up to be somewhat full. It's not going to be full off the bat. The second thing is that this is incredibly matte, and as someone who has very oily skin, this is a nice option, even though lately I have been into kind of like the demi-matte, semi-matte finish because it's a little bit more natural. Your skin looks a little bit more radiant and youthful. That's just the finish I've been into, but still this is a really good option for anybody out there with oily skin. And last, it is long lasting. However, for things to note, it is long lasting, but since it's incredibly matte, it can be incredibly drying, and it settles into fine lines a little bit oddly. So you will have to be doing a little bit of touching up throughout the day, you know, patting out the under eyes. I have to pat out my expression line on my forehead. It sets into those lines a little bit oddly. And also, you know, if you have dry skin, just stay away from this foundation. You are not gonna like it. It clings onto absolutely every single dry patch. Like I said, it settles into fine lines a little bit oddly. You're probably not gonna like it. So in conclusion, I could say I like this foundation, and by that I mean I don't love it and I don't hate it. Like I said, it's a good option for people with very oily skin like myself. However, I do find it quite annoying to have to retouch or tap out my expression and smile lines throughout my face. but I have been using it during the more rainier days and it does perform fairly well. So I'm very curious to see how it does during the summer, so in more humid weather. If it does a great job and it ends up impressing me, because when I go back home to Puerto Rico, I do find myself having to readjust my foundation game for the weather, so I will definitely be testing this out over there. You will definitely be getting an update if it does a great job. I hope that you guys enjoyed this review and found it somewhat helpful. Like always, all of my links will be down below so that we can stay connected. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel so that you're notified every time I put out a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for stopping by, and until next time.